What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to TRU Raider Podcast. I am your host, TRU Raider. Now, it's been a minute since I have been live. It's probably been about 3 weeks, and there's just been a lot going on in my life, man. A lot of things have changed and shifted, and I've been really having to focus on the things that I need to focus on for my family and for myself. So I apologize for that, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Life hits, right? So, salute to Nav Man. Salute to Nav Man. What's good? What's good, man? I want to jump straight into this right away, man. I'm gonna read some articles, and then we're gonna talk about it, right? And then we're gonna talk about it. So let me pull this up real quick, man. Let's see, which one do I talk about first? Let's talk about Jaire Alexander. So Jaire Alexander, and this is Bleacher Report, reportedly eyed by 6 NFL teams in free agency after Packers release. And if you did not know, the Packers have released cornerback Jaire Alexander. So after being released by the Green Bay Packers on Monday, cornerback Jaire Alexander reportedly has a slew of options in front of him. NFL insider Josina Anderson reported that 6 NFL teams made immediate inquiries about Alexander after he hit the open market this week. According to ESPN's Rob Demovsky, I can't even say it, man, the Packers explored the possibility of trading Alexander earlier this season after no trade materialized. Green Bay would have, hold up. What's good? All right. My bad, you guys. Green Bay would have been willing to retain him on a reworked contract and even offered him a revised deal in recent days, but the two sides couldn't come to an agreement. Alexander was scheduled to make a fully non-guaranteed salary of $17.5 million in 2025, but the Packers opted to release him. Demovsky noted that he planned on reporting to Green Bay's mandatory minicamp this week before he was released. He had skipped the entirety of the voluntary portion of OTAs. A 2-time Pro Bowl selection, Alexander is coming off back-to-back injury-riddled seasons in which he was limited to 7 games in both years. He finished the 2024 season with 16 total tackles, 7 passes defended, 2 interceptions, 1 return touchdown, and a fumble recovery. If he can stay healthy, Alexander would undoubtedly be driven to return to his usual form as one of the best cornerbacks in the league in 2025. Teams in need of improvements in their defensive backfield would be wise to try to add him on a potential bargain deal. Now, salute to Billy. What's good? What's good? Jeffrey, what's good, my man? Salute. Let me see. Say what's up to TikTok, man. Whoa, you guys already hitting Jimmy G and Minshew talk, man. It's getting crazy up in here. But I want to talk about Jaire Alexander real briefly, just because the fact of him having 7 passes defense, 2 interceptions, a return for a touchdown, and a fumble recovery in just 7 games, right? And I got to say that if the Raiders went out and picked up Jaire Alexander, I got to say I would be super happy about this pickup, even though your best ability is your availability, and he has not stayed healthy. He is an extremely talented corner, and it would be ridiculous for us to not take a flyer on this guy. I have a feeling that whoever picks him up is probably going to be looking at a 1-year prove-it deal. If you can make it through the entire season and stay healthy, then we can talk money, right? Let's go ahead and jump into this next article. And this one is about, this is CBS Sports. This is about Jalen Ramsey. So Dolphins' Mike McDaniel gives blunt response to Jalen Ramsey trade status, mandatory minicamp absence. Ramsey held out of minicamp amid the Dolphins' efforts to find a trade partner. Miami Dolphins cornerback Jalen Ramsey is not at mandatory minicamp this week as he and the franchise continue to work towards a trade. His absence is significant as the Dolphins defense moves forward without an all-pro veteran in its backfield. But coach Mike McDaniel brushed it off as an off-the-field distraction and instead kept the focus on those who are in attendance for the first day of practice. When asked if he was surprised Ramsey and the Dolphins had yet to find a resolution, McDaniel offered a blunt response and doubled down on his intention to pour energy into the players who are at camp rather than the ones who are not. I don't personally give a shit about what I feel, McDaniel said. I don't even really go down that road of how do I feel about it. My job is to react and control my controllables and make sure that people are moving in one direction appropriately. Business is business. The opportunity that business does provide in the offseason is a rep to the team about handling noise. Ramsey played each of the last 2 seasons with the Dolphins and participated in 17 games last year after he missed time in his first campaign with a torn meniscus. He is under contract with the franchise through 2028, but the mutual decision to seek a trade came just 1 season after the parties agreed to a 3-year extension. The $72.3 million deal Ramsey signed last September made him the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. What do I define noise as? McDaniel said things that don't have to do with what actually you're there to do. What you should be focused on doing because you'll be held accountable to do them. It's about not really caring about all the things other than what we're here to do today, which is mandatory minicamp. Ramsey's production slipped as he hit 30, and he missed the Pro Bowl for the first time since his rookie campaign in 2016. His 2 interceptions last season were his fewest since 2020, although he made up for the downturn in takeaways with upticks in tackles, 60, and tackles for loss, 6. The former Florida State product totaled 11 passes defended. So, Jalen Ramsey, right? And for me, Christopher Raiders, what's good, salute. For me, I love the idea, that guy with the follow, salute to you, man. I love the idea of Jalen Ramsey. I've talked about it before. I think that, getting Jalen Ramsey on this defense would be an amazing pickup, even though he's, 30. Alfredo is asking, would I rather go for Alexander or Ramsey? And, that's just the thing, right? Is my personal opinion. That's actually a really difficult one because I feel like Ramsey would probably be a better pickup, even though he'd be more expensive, just because of the fact that he's got that veteran presence. Alfredo with the follow, salute. He's got that veteran presence, and he has a whole lot to offer when it comes to, this younger defensive back room, right? We don't really have any of those kind of big flashy names going on. And Jalen Ramsey is one of those names. And last year, yes, his production was down, but it was his first season back from a pretty significant injury, and he played all 17 games. So I think that that's an amazing feat on his part. And I think that, honestly, he's going to play better this season than he did last season. I honestly believe that. Another piece of this is Jair Alexander, and Alfredo said it, both can bring that culture. Alexander is definitely a very productive corner. He's very skilled. He's very athletic. He's a little bit shorter than what Pete Carroll typically goes for, but that I think could be overlooked because of his skill, because of his presence. Now, because there's been issues with both of these guys on the teams that they're currently on, and striking a deal and being unhappy, things like that, right? I don't really feel like that fits into what Pete Carroll is doing, and what John Spytek was looking for. Now, I could see from a talent standpoint that both of these guys would be ideally looked at I think John Spytek might be one to look a little bit more towards making one of these moves than Pete Carroll, honestly. Chris Raider saying Alexander stays hurt, might as well have kept Hobbs. And, the thing is that I agree with that, but I also believe that Alexander is better than Hobbs and more productive. So to bring him on, um, I think that Alexander knows that he needs to complete a season this year, because if he doesn't play at least 15, 16 games, he's going to be in trouble. He's going to be in a whole lot of trouble as far as being able to get any kind of legitimate contract, because teams are going to just be looking at, his injuries and all that, man. And honestly, I'm in that same boat where that scares the shit out of me, right? To pay somebody, because to give him more than like a 1-year prove it deal puts us in a position where it doesn't make any sense, right? Um, I don't think that that's the move at all. Conrad Aguilar, Randy Moss, Devontae Adams, AB, all those dudes we signed didn't do nothing. I'm not spending no big money on free agent. They're not going to want to play here. So Apple user with the follow salute. I do believe that they would want to play here because the whole culture shift that's happening with Pete Carroll and John Spytek. Geno Smith is a top 15 quarterback. We got Ashton Genty. We got a lot of good things going on. Brock Bowers, our rookie receivers are looking really good at OTAs. But the biggest kicker is that I do not believe that the Raiders are going to go out there and sign a big free agent right now. I think what they're doing is they're putting money away, and they're going to give Colton Miller a deal. Colton Miller came out today and said that he wants to be a Raider. He does not want to go anywhere but the Raiders, right? And so I believe that Colton Miller's deal is coming soon. There's a couple of these players that we're probably going to look to retain. Jacoby Myers. I think that we're going to allocate money within the building. And something really hit me last night, man. I was watching another content creator do a live, man, and when I was watching this, they were talking about these corners, and all I could think about was, when has Pete Carroll ever gone out and gotten a big name corner? And he hasn't. I couldn't think of a single time, and so I put in a super chat, and they were like, no, like he doesn't. He develops them, and that was exactly my point, was that he develops them. And so why would Pete Carroll want to go out there and get a 30-year-old Jalen Ramsey, who has just made the highest paid corner last year? Why would he want to go out there and get an injury-prone Jair Alexander when he has a track record of getting very tall, very fast corners that have a good attitude, that don't force their way off of teams and things like that, or don't have these, contract issues, and he develops them, right? And he's got a lot of young corners right now in the building to develop, hearing a lot of good things about Darian Porter coming out of OTAs. Jacorian Bennett, everybody's on this whole kick of like, oh, well, Jacorian Bennett, he's taking reps with the 2s instead of the 1s. And so, why would anybody think that he might be a starter, or that he's any good, or that Pete Carroll likes him? And the thing is that he went down with that shoulder injury last year, and I have a feeling that he's not fully healthy. And so they're running him with the 2s right now, because he's probably not going to be a starter at the beginning of the season. I think that they're going to have him continue to rehab up and kind of get in place. And then also giving these guys like Darian Porter first team reps. I think it's a good play, because you got this guy, he's a rookie, he's a 3rd round pick. Get him out there, get him getting those significant reps right now. That way, we can get him into a starting position faster. See, JC, he said that he had that injury since college. Yeah, and that wait, who are you talking about? You talking about Jacorian Bennett, JC, or are you talking about Alexander? Trayson, do you think Raiders will show interest in Ramsey or Jair Alexander? And that's what this video is about, is that I do not believe that that the Raiders are going to go out and get either of these corners. While I want them to, I would love for them to. Do I think they're going to do it? No, I don't. And honestly, it's pretty often that I have a take on something like this and my take is wrong, right? So if this one is wrong, hell yeah. But that's really what I believe. Okay, JC, he finally got surgery for it. Bennett. Yeah, so Bennett finally got surgery for this injury that's been nagging him for a long time. And in the NFL, these guys, they got money, they got access to, the best surgeons out there for sports injuries. And I really honestly think that he's going to take a little bit of time to get back into that starting role, but he really proved it last year. He was a damn good corner. And I think that this dude is going to continue to develop because he's got the right mentality. He's got the right attitude. Trayson, would you prefer one over the other? I would prefer Jalen Ramsey, even though he's older, just because I think he's going to stay healthier. But if Jair Alexander stays healthy, he's younger, and damn, man, you get Jair Alexander for 17 games for several years in a row, like that's just, I don't know, man. That's a really, really difficult decision to make. If it was up to me, I'd take both of them. We have the cap space, right? But like I said, I think that we're going to pay Colton Miller and we might pay Jacoby Myers. And I think that they're going to try to roll over some cap. So let's going to see what's going to come up with that. Conrad, if Geno shows up and Genty is real deal, I think we can take division. KC is on the downhill. I don't know that we necessarily take the division, especially in year one, but I've seen some talk out there about, the potential. Who was it that was saying it? It started with Jeremy Chin. Jeremy Chin was saying that he believes that the Raiders could have a Commanders-like turnaround in year one in this new regime. And honestly, I'm starting to really feel that. And I don't want to be that hype guy. I want to be a little bit realistic. But I made a bet at work with a 49er fan that I think that the Raiders are going to go further than the Niners this year. And then after I made the bet, the guy showed me the Niners schedule, which I should have looked at first. And damn, do they have the easiest schedule, man. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So, there's going to be a setback for me there, but that's all right, man. Honestly believe that we have a team that can put us in a really good position. And as far as, Geno Smith is a damn good quarterback, right? He's going to be with a better offensive line. And they're saying, oh, well, he's not going to have as good of weapons. And I think that's bullshit because he's going to have Ashton Genty, right? And Ashton Genty, he's going to ball out year one. I would be super surprised if he doesn't rush for over 1,000 yards, right? And that's going to open up the offense enough to where you got Brock Bowers, you got Michael Mayer, who there's really good reports coming out from OTAs that he's really stepping up. And I think that Chip Kelly is going to be able to utilize him a lot better. Not only do you have, Brock Bowers, who, set the record for rookie tight end receiving yards, but you have him in a better scheme with a better quarterback. Our offensive line is going to play better simply because of being Chip Kelly's offense with Geno Smith, who's more mobile, and Ashton Genty up in our running game. We had the worst running game last year. There's no possibility that we have the worst running game this year. So, yeah, we are definitely going to be doing a lot better, and I'm super excited. You got Dante Thornton Jr., amazing reports coming out from OTAs about Dante Thornton Jr. Not only is he tall and fast, the dude's like 6'5", and he's as fast as Trey Tucker, but he's also running amazing routes. And that was one of the things that people really doubted about him. They're like, oh, well, he's not really a route runner and da-da-da. But the thing is that in college, the offense that they were running over there, they didn't run any fancy stuff. Thank you for the heart me, thank you. They didn't run any of that fancy stuff. So, he went on a Graphic Raiders show a couple times, right? And he was talking about like they just didn't utilize me in that way, and that he has that skill set. And apparently that's showing through at OTAs, and I'm really, really happy to hear that. Jack Besh is also one that they're saying a lot of good things about. JC, to be honest, I'd prefer Ramsey and that linebacker Pratt from Washington. Sorry, guys, my dog's trying to knock over my light right now. Yeah, Pratt. There was some talk about Pratt, and I'm a little bit worried about our linebacker room, but it doesn't really seem like Pete Carroll or John Spytek are really worried about that, which is very interesting to me, right? Because Devin White, yes, he had his day and he was very good, but he's really been on the decline really, really bad. And unless he has some kind of resurgent season, I can't really expect a ton out of him. Amari Gaynor is a guy that I really believe is going to step it up this year. He was playing pretty good. Last year, he did suffer an injury. I think he'll get some good reps. Tommy Eichenberg. And then Landon Roberts, right? Landon Roberts, so he did a press conference last week, man, and at first, his first couple of like answers, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this guy, right? But the longer he talked, the more I could just see like his ethic, his attitude, his knowledge, and a lot of that was showing through, man. And I was like, you know what? Maybe we got one of them guys in Landon Roberts, man. So let's see how that looks. Raider Mike 27 is saying I'm looking at 9 wins, and I'm thinking somewhere around the same. Honestly, I could see us going over or under. I could see us getting a slump and end up with 8 wins, and I could also see us jump up to 10 wins. I think we're going to be somewhere in that window. It's a little bit hard to tell right now, especially because we don't really know our exact 53-man roster. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing, man. I am. Kells with the heart me, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. So let's see. Conrad, Seahawks offense were overrated, just Metcalf and Kenneth Walker. That's all he got, more weapons here. Dude, and that's huge, man. And I don't know why they're even saying stuff like that. Okay, he doesn't have a number 1 wide receiver like Metcalf. Duh, right? He doesn't have that. Brock Bowers I think Brock Bowers slaps Metcalf any day, right? And I'll stand on that, right? I could be wrong on that, right? I think having Brock Bowers is I'd rather have Brock Bowers right now than Metcalf, right? If they said, hey, you could trade Brock Bowers for DJ Metcalf, I would say, hell no. Why would I want to do that, right? Jacoby Myers is a great receiver. He had over 1,000 yards with Brock Bowers carrying all the weight. So he didn't really carry all the weight, right? Because Jacoby Myers was balling out and doing his thing. And then I think that the amount of good weapons instead of like just looking at peak weapons counts for a lot. Because, you have one really good receiver, Devontae Adams, let's say. But if you just have that one dude and he's getting doubled and tripled, what good is that, right? But if you have a slew of weapons that you can really choose from that can all really, really get it done at a high clip, you're definitely going to be in a better position, right? K-Man, salute, what's good? G-Man the Human, what's up? Let's see. Let me see. G-Man the Human, do you think you're going to beat the Broncos? The Broncos, it's a little hard to tell what's going on with them right now. They are making some good moves in this offseason. They weren't really that great last year because, let's face it, we sucked, right? We sucked really bad, and if we had beat the Broncos one game, they're not in the playoffs. And And then Bo Nix was playing with a fractured spine for like 6 weeks. That can really, really have a big effect on his play capabilities and his willingness to take hits and things like that moving forward. So I have a feeling that we're going to see Bo Nix try to chill out a little bit and not get himself hurt. But that dude did turn out to be a lot better than I thought he would be, man. Q, what's up, Joel? How you doing, man? Good to see you, bro. It's funny how, man, you get people from your whole division that want to come and talk shit all the time, man. G-Man the Human, I have a question. What is your question, man? What's good? My dog's getting all sad because I'm in here. I just got home from work. Come on, G-Man, what's up with it? So, yeah, I mean, honestly, man, is Bo Nix a superstar QB? I don't know about superstar. Do I think that Bo Nix has the potential to be top 15, top 10? I could see it. Do I think he was this year? Not really. Do NFL rankings have him as that? No. The dude's got dog in him. The dude definitely has dog in him, and that counts for a lot. You know, honestly, if this injury doesn't really affect him, he's probably going to have a better year this year. But that spine injury and being a person who suffered a back injury, after I suffered that back injury, man, throwing, I don't know, man. It got really, really difficult. So if he's healthy and that injury doesn't really affect him, I could see him ending up in the top 10. I could. Which is unfortunate for us because he's in our division, right? I don't want that. So I really think that Pete Carroll is pretty convinced with the guys that we have on the roster. He brought in Jeremy Chin, Eric Stokes. I hear that they're really high on Harper for the slot. Paulo Mal. We got Jacorian Bennett, Cameron Richardson. He was a 4th-round pick last year, and he's a big dude and he's fast. We have a pretty deep corner room, and we don't really have like a very clear like hierarchy, right? We don't really have like, okay, we got our top tier corner and then we have all these other guys, right? It's like we kind of have this lump of guys that are all good. They're all very serviceable. And that's the thing that's kind of driving me crazy is it's not extremely clear like, okay, this is definitely like without a doubt our best guy and our second best guy. And that makes me nervous, right? I don't really like how that looks, but to be honest with you, man, Pete Carroll being in the building is going to make a huge difference for this corner room. The thing that really is messing me up is that Christian Wilkins is not even in the building. And having Christian Wilkins out is going to be detrimental to this defense. I mean, we paid him a ton of money, and he's over here injured, and it's really, man. G-Man the Human, Bo Nix was tough when he had that back. Are you a Broncos fan or what's going on, man? Why are you talking about Bo Nix so much? But that could be to his detriment as well, right? Wanting to go in there and play super hard with an injury and not alert the proper people like, hey, there's an issue going on, right? Because that could really end up being a big problem because you can further injure yourself and get put in a position where, because your best ability is your availability, right? So if he's not available, then, what are they going to do? Who do they still got as backup? Jason Statham, you know? Let's see. My stagnation. Let's see, we are weak in the center of our D. Pause. Who are our safeties? Who is the mic? So, I mean, really, Paul Mao, he was playing pretty good. I hate that we lost Trayvon Merrick and Marcus Epps. It's looking like Jeremy Chin and Paul Mao. I think that's what it's going to be, honestly. Let's see. Yeah, my stagnation regarding Nick's Carr was never the same after he broke his ankle in 16. So when Carr went down with the broken leg, like it, his game completely changed, right? Rob Raider with the follow salute, and and that's why I look at this whole thing with Bo Nix, and I'm like, you could end up with a Derek Carr situation, right? Because Derek Carr was a dog until he got that injury, and then he just never kind of had that same confidence. He'd kind of curl up and try to stay away from hits, and it turned into a big issue, right? And I know it's a different kind of injury, but yeah, you got to watch out, man. When your quarterback gets hurt, it's like, I was actually shocked. Geno Smith was on there for the media day yesterday talking about how he thinks he's got another 10 years left in him, right? And I know that he's a very low mileage quarterback because he didn't get played a lot, which could be to his advantage. I don't see him having 10 years. I could see maybe 5, but I mean, Father Time is undefeated. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that you can. I don't know. I guess Tom Brady played that old, and he was a high mileage quarterback too. So there is that. So look, you guys, I just wanted to jump on real quick because it's been a minute, man, and I've been really slacking on getting on the lives. I'm in the middle of a big rearrange thing going on in my house, man. I'm trying to get set up. As you can see, there's some green screen messed up, and there's things going on, right? So I'm working on that right now, but I'm going to start putting out more consistent content moving forward. Things have settled down with all my work stuff where I'm in a good spot. I can get back on the content, and I'm getting excited, you guys. I'm getting excited to get into the season. I think we got like 89 days left or something like that. It's gonna fly by. It's gonna fly by, And so as more develops, I'll be over here making more content. Like always, man. I love you, nation, and I'll catch you on the next one.